Girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha, and thank you for tuning in to In My Opinion. Tonight, we're going to be talking about Ready to Love Season 3, Episode 9. In this episode, it starts out with them dispersing after the elimination. And so, you see Adriana being like, this is crazy. And then we cut to Winter and Jay kind of sneaking off to the side, and they're having a little witty banter at first, and he's trying to fix her hair, and then they start talking. And child, listen, okay. I was going to give y'all some long spiel about this little interaction between Winter and Jay, but let's just say what it is because this is getting on my nerves. Winter, honey, you are a catch. You are a beautiful woman, an entrepreneur, a positive force. I do not know how many times this man has to tell you that it's joy for him. There's no other way around it. He has told you in so many different ways. I don't know if he needs to tell you in another language. He said it in front of your friend. He said it to you countless times. And I mean, you are a catch. So if he don't want to be catching, then throw him back out there, honey. He's for the streets. Oh, he's not for the streets. Sorry, let me bring it back. Child, no, act right. They for the streets, but he's for joy. Okay. And he said that over and over and over again, and you're just not being receptive to it. So I want this to be your wake up call to let you know that, hey, you know, Jay is not what it is. And it's not going to change. But they're sitting down and they're talking. And she asked him, she said, hey, if you had to go home with one person tonight, who would it be? And he said, off the top of my head, Joy. No hesitation, no nothing. And he said, I just want to be upfront and honest with you because I don't want you to feel like I'm telling you something that's some bullcorn. And I'm like, bullcorn? Boy, you country. But then again, ain't that the pot calling the kettle black, honey? Because I'm country too. But, he said, I don't want to shoot you any bullcorn. And yeah, poor Winter. I just feel like she was just sitting there like, this man done did it again. I mean, and then he asked her because he's trying to make himself feel less like crap. Well, who did you choose? And she said, well, I chose you, of course. And they continue to have their conversation, which I kind of tuned out because the fact that you have let this woman know yet again that it's joy for you. And I mean, I don't really see it. I guess people look better in person than they do on screenshot. I don't know. But for some reason, that's what she likes. So if you like it, I love it. Then we see Jay go over and cover his bases with Joy, and he lets Joy know, hey, I just wanted to let you know that I'm going to have to be walking and talking with some other people this week because Tommy has let us know that we're going to have to spend some time with people other than our first choice. And she's like, you already been walking and talking with other people, honey. But quiet as it's kept, Joy is not worried in the slightest because she already knows she has Jay wrapped around her finger and she has Edwin wrapped around her finger. So she is not worried. So you go on over there and pretend with Winter because that's what Tommy told y'all to do. And I'll be over here, me and my natural fro and my blazer, and I'll be waiting on you when you get back. Okay? So then we see Alex sit down with Rashid, and Rashid with his smooth talking Kappa ways, honey, he always know what to say. He complimenting Alex on her pretty smile and letting her know that, hey, I want to get to know you a little more, and I would like to take you out on a date. And he's like, I know you're going to have something casual and fine on. You like to do your casual fine thing. And honey, Alex is grinning from ear to ear. You can see every teeth in her mouth. And then they pan over to Adriana and she kind of rolling her eyes a little bit. Girl, what are you worried about? Because you was feeling something all warm inside. And Adriana sitting in between Calfani and Denise talking on one side, honey. Them producers shady. And then you got Rashid sitting over here talking to Alex. Calfani is letting Denise know that he would like to take her on a date. Little does she know that this is a choice number 2 type date. But I feel like my girl Denise deserves to go on a date with Calfani because she has watched him parade around with Adriana, even though she was a bit upset about that. So I feel like this date is well deserved. So they're having their conversation and he's letting her know, I want to spend some time with you. And she's like, oh, you asking me on a date? And she turns around and looks at him all lovingly and all soft like. And he's like, yeah, I want to take you on a date. And she was like, I am so happy. I'm grinning from ear to ear about time that we get to go out and enjoy ourselves. And I was just so happy for her in that moment, even though this was the, second choice type thing, but we're going to keep that to ourselves until the tapes roll back. But she was happy about that, and I was happy for her. So they pan over to, all the dates are starting to happen now. So the first date that takes place is Calfani and Denise. They have a very sensual date, and Calfani's giving her a massage, and she's enjoying every bit of it. And I feel like she deserved it. And they're getting a little cozy. And I mean, them hands look like they working. And she laying there, honey, and she done sweated out of her pressing curl. It's all linked to the side. But she's having a good time. So then, he lets her know, Tommy wanted us to be a bit vulnerable. And so I wanted to ask you a few questions. And this side of Calfani was very eye-opening for me because I feel like I had prejudged him. And just knowing now what I do, it makes me look at him in a different light, and it makes me see why Denise has such a strong connection with him. They're talking, and Denise asks him if he's looking for a mother figure for his daughter. And he reveals that he is a single dad and that her mom has not been involved in her life. And she's 12 years old now. And that is such a turn on. The fact that this guy is a single dad, he's raising a girl at that into a woman. And, he's doing the best that he can do, and he has to find someone that's going to be able to mesh with that. And I feel like that's something that Denise can do because she's a track coach. She works with the youth. She's used to working with children. And because of the way she feels for him, I'm sure she's going to feel the exact same thing about his offspring. And I feel like the things that he brings out of her, it's a positive. And I do feel like that would be a good match. And he's saying to her, I haven't seen that jealous side of you, but with you, I just feel like I'm scared because I don't know if that's going to come out again. She's like, well, you know, that's what you do when you care about somebody. But Calfani was just basically in his head, he's so wrapped around with Adriana that he's just like, I feel like he's holding Denise to this impossible standard because it's like you do one thing and that's the end, you're done. And he's like, well, yeah, I kind of felt like his energy was off, and he was kind of giving her a side eye. And their date kind of drifted into the scene where you see Rashid and Alex sitting down. And Rashid is growing on me each and every episode. And I must say, he was looking real good in this scene, honey. I'm just saying, he was looking real good. But when I see him and Alex together, I don't get couple vibes. I get big brother, little sis. Like, she just reads so young to me. So when I see them sit down and attempt to have a date, he has so many layers to him that's not something I think she needs to. If you coming in and you young and fresh and still popping, ain't never been married, don't have no children, I think you need to find a person in the same lane as you. That's just my opinion. Y'all come here to, find out what my opinion is. And honey, that's my opinion. I just feel like, stay on your level. And this man has been married before. He has a child, and that's a lot of responsibility. And an ex-marriage and an ex-spouse comes with a lot of baggage and a lot that is not upfront seen. And I know that from personal experience. So I just feel like they're cool, but not a match do they make, not in my eyes. But they're sitting down and they're talking. And, he let her know that, hey, I felt like my ex-wife, I was nothing to her. I mean, I feel like there was nothing that I could do to be included because she had everything. She had a successful business. And, then she had the baby, and I felt like I was just kicked over to by the wayside. But what I respected about him is that he said he had therapy. And so he had worked through those issues. And then that made me think about why he wants so bad to be tied to Adriana when she ghosted him at first. And now he wants to he's like laying it on so thick trying to prove that he could be with her. And I feel like that stems from what he went through with his ex-wife. That thing where you don't feel like you have a place. And then for her abandoning him, he kind of wants to prove to himself that he can do it. Okay. So Alex tells him that she was in an abusive relationship, and Rashid, being the stand up guy that he is, lets her know, it's not her fault. And I hope she's not blaming herself. And they make a connection right there. And then Rashid starts to say, Alex is climbing on up the chart. And I'm like, okay, Rashid, you say that with everybody you go on a date with, honey. You said that last week with Simone. She at the house. Okay. She's at home. You said that, now you're saying that this week with Alex. You know dang on well that you're just trying to find a backup because Adriana can't be trusted. She's here for exposure. I've said that from day one. I feel like she is here solely for the purpose of being seen on television. She is a model, and you need those 15 minutes. So I feel like that's what's going on with her, but I could be wrong. Then we see Edwin and Joy go on their date, and the setting is beautiful. But I feel like each and every time that Joy and Edwin get together, he emotionally dumps all over her. I feel like it's such a heavy interaction each and every time they get together. It's never lighthearted. It's never, let me get to know you. Let's laugh. Let's talk. He's so heavy emotionally all the time that it can be draining. And even sitting in that setting, Joy was just like, in her confessional, she's like, I don't think this is the time for him to be trying to look for love. I just really don't. And I have to agree, because Edwin is exhibiting all the signs of someone who is just not ready. And so he needs to take a bit more time to try to get to know himself and figure out some of the issues that he has before he tries to be with anybody else. That's just the bottom line. And then we have Winter and Jay's date. So he sets up this romantic celestial date, and they're looking through the telescope, and he says, look up at that star. It should be shaped like this. And that is called the Aquarius star. And I set that up because you're an Aquarius. And she thought that it was really cute. And in my mind, I'm thinking, let's just hurry it along, because what are you going to do? Tell her that that star has the same amount of letters as the name Joy. Like, I just feel like everything circles back to Joy for Jay. So quite frankly, I don't want to hear it. But they had their date, and they sit down on they lay down on these beanbag type things, and they're laying there and they're talking. And so he lets her know that, the task for this week is to be vulnerable. And she asked him a question. They pull out these cards, and she asked him, she said, what are you doing that makes the person that you're with feel like it's more than what it is? And he didn't really have an answer. He started talking in riddles, kind of like Brian did. He should have just come out and said streaker at this point, because I feel like he was just going around in a circle, not really saying what it is. And she said, well, do you come on too strong, or are you laying it on real thick? And I'm thinking, yes. You can't see that by example. I mean, he laid it on real thick with you, had you thinking, honey, you were in the top. And every single time he let you know that you're number two. Your girlfriend number two. Because the first one, she don't really. No, I'm just kidding. But I just feel like he keeps doing the same thing to you. So you should know that's what he does. And that's why these women are thinking it's more than what it actually is. So Winter says to him, why haven't we kissed? And he's like, well, I'm going to give you what you want. And I'm thinking we about to see a kiss, a real kiss. I'm like, okay, it's happening. This man leans in and gives this woman, this grown woman, a kiss on her cheek. I said, oh, he all the way devoted to Joy, honey. I don't care if we on camera. They might as well just go ahead and end the show at Joy and Jay are together. JJ, they're together. Dynamite, they're together. Okay? So the fact that he didn't want to kiss you, and when he did that, that's when Winter had her aha moment. Okay, you're done. Okay? Like, I've given you several chances. You're making a fool out of me at this point. So I'm just going to have to say deuces. So Winter gets to go out on a date with Anthony. which I feel like is better suited for her. They go on this cute little date where they're playing badminton. She looking all cute, showing her little thick thighs, got a little shorts on, and they're having their date. And they make a bet, and Anthony lets her know, if I win, you have to give me a kiss. And then Winter said, well, if I win, then you have to give me a kiss and you have to carry me on your back to the resort. So Anthony's like, anyway, it's a win-win. They're playing the game. Winter ends up winning, I'm sure on purpose. And he leans in and gives her a peck. And at first I was thinking, okay, Anthony, now don't pull a J. This a grown woman, honey. Lean in and do what you got to do. So they sit down and they're talking because, again, this is the task of being vulnerable. And she asks him, had he ever been in love? And he said, no, I don't think I have, because I was always so in love with football. So I never really gave a relationship a chance. And I think she kind of felt like that was a red flag, but at the same time, she kind of overlooked it too. So he said, I'm a different person though, because back then I was Tony and today I'm Anthony. And I'm like, I know that's right. That's that grown man stuff, honey. We don't do nicknames. We do government. Okay. We do government names now. So, they leaned in and they actually had a real kiss. And that was everything. And I think that changed the game for both Winter and Anthony. After that, Joy and Edwin reconvene yet again. And it was strange. It was a strange scene because it was almost like a breakup, but they're not a couple. So there were tears involved and they were both very emotional. And I feel like Joy helped Edwin to see that, right now may just not be the time for you to be in a relationship. And he let her know that I want the best for you, basically saying to her, I'm going to allow Jay to step in and make you happy because I know right now I'm not capable of that. And he said that so eloquently in so many words. And they had a little cry and a hug. And I was almost kind of sad because it just solidified the fact that Edwin will definitely be going home next week. After that scene there, we see Rashid meet up with Adriana. And, they sit down and he lets her know that he has a gift for her. And in true Tinkerbell fashion, she's like, oh my God, what do you have? And he gives it to her and she's, oh my gosh, thank you. I'm like, oh, girl, please. So she leans in to give him a hug and he leans in for a kiss. And baby, that was a kiss. Okay. And she was just like, oh my God, his lips were so soft. And the whole while I'm thinking, here she go with this fake stuff, because we all know that you don't like Rashid like that. And Rashid let her know, he said, hey, I just want to let you know that you are my priority. I'm here for you. You are still on my top. I just want to let that be known. And he said, so how are you feeling? She went completely blank, started making up stuff as she went along. Well, I'm just trying to, I'm just trying to clear my head. I'm just clearing my thoughts and I'm thinking my thoughts and I'm trying to clear myself. Girl, what are you talking about? Just say, I'm just not that into you. Just say it. Because, that should have been his aha moment. The light bulb should have came on that on top of that shiny head and let him know Adriana has ghosted me in the past. So obviously there was something about me she didn't like then. I don't know what would have made you think that right now in this setting would be any different. But like I said, and I said this previously before I even had a YouTube channel, that I feel like Brian and Adriana should have went on a date. They should have dated each other because they're both young. They're both like-minded. They both act ditzy. So I feel like Tinkerbell and Peter Pan should have dated. And maybe the dynamic of this show would be totally different. But that didn't happen. And now she has Rashid's head in the clouds when she's no dang all well. She don't care nothing about no Rashid. So we cut to deliberation. And Tommy is asking the guys how their dates went and who are their tops. Edwin, of course, says Joy, but nobody is privy to the information that they shared in their, conversation, and the fact that he has basically let her know that she can go and pursue Jay because he knows that he's not for her, and that's okay. Jay kind of gave him the side eye, but he does that every time they go in to talk to Tommy because he doesn't like anybody else saying anything about Joy. Then you hear Rashid let them know that he went on a date with Alex, but Adriana is still in his top. Anthony switched it up and said, you know what? Me and Winter, we shared a kiss. And Jay had enough nerve to kind of act like he was looking like something. And I'm like, okay, if you cared anything about Winter, you had your chance in that moment. You just want everybody. So I don't even know why you looking sideways when you know dang on well that you didn't care nothing about that girl. And you don't. The only person that you care about is Joy. They go to Calfani, and Calfani says that it's Adriana. Now, the thing that bothers me each and every time in deliberation with Calfani is that he never goes to bat for Denise. Either you like her or you don't. If you're gonna be the kind of person that if a person makes one mistake, then they're done, then you need to just say that. Because when she watches this back, she's going to see that each and every time that she was up for elimination, it was partly because of you. Because nobody else is on Denise's radar. And she's not on anybody else's either except Anthony. But now Winter has come in, swooped in. So now she's not on anybody's radar. And now she's up for elimination yet again. So now we have Anthony. He's tasked with going to speak to Denise. And we have Calfani going to speak with Alex. So Anthony sits Denise down. He's talking to her and he said, us and the guys, we got together. And I just want to know if you had to choose right now, who would you choose? And Denise takes her drink. She's like, oh my God. And she's thinking to herself, this is a hard one. But she straight up let him know she was real. She said, I would choose Calfani because we have a spiritual connection. And I think Anthony respected that because he has the same kind of struggle. He doesn't know if he wants Denise or Winter. And after this date with Winter, he's really leaning toward her. Then we see Calfani, he's talking to Alex and he's feeding her a bunch of bull. And he's like, oh, I didn't realize how cool you were. And I mean, I feel like I should have got to know you. And you just were so wrapped up with Brian as soon as he came in. And, you guys just got directly together and no one else got a chance to know you. And part of that is true, but I don't feel like Calfani, I don't feel like he had any problem with, if he really wanted to get to know Alex, he would have just come up and been like, hey, I would like to get to know you. Same as he did with Adriana and Denise. So I feel like he was just doing that to soften the blow. And that was cute. But let's just get to the real because we're all adults here. I think Alex really regrets giving so much to Brian right up front because it was the detriment of her, quite frankly. And he was a waste of time and you should have let Alicia have him. Honey, Brian could have been gone first day. Him and that haircut, they could have been gone. So they're talking and then we go back over to Anthony and Denise and Anthony says, well, you know what? The group decided and I want you to stay. I was so nervous because I was like, oh my gosh, please do not send Denise home. She still has potential. And I feel like if Calfani would just let go of the fact that she got jealous, like people don't get jealous every day, that they could actually be something. And when he said that she could stay, I was so relieved because I feel like Alex should have been the choice because her and Rashid are not a match and there's nobody else that she has connected with. So Calfani said, you know what? We have decided that you're not ready to love. And she appreciated it and appreciated the experience and she exited gracefully, just as Simone did. And that was the end of that episode. And they go to a preview of the new episode and there are quite a bit of moving parts, a lot of layers to that episode. But what peeked out to me was that they're all sitting around and Joy is absent. And Tommy lays something very serious and emotional on them because you see Denise get emotional. And I'm an IG detective and everything, so I've already peeped all of their social media profiles. And the fact that Joy was missing, I kind of put the pieces together. But I'm just going to let that episode play out because that's a very personal thing. And I think that's just out of respect. But that's all I have for you guys this episode. I am so happy that you came back to listen yet again to me being shady, honey, because that's what I like to do. And if you guys like this content, then please don't hesitate to subscribe, like, and comment down below. Tell me something maybe that I missed, something that you feel. Let's have an open discussion. I will make sure that I respond to all comments. Make sure you turn on that notification bell so you'll be updated each and every time I upload a new video. Thank you guys for watching. Stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.